I'm not some damn hybrid creature that was formed from the heavens above. No, not. I want God to be up there with a pen, get another piece of paper saying, silence out all the fucking bullshit of life. You mean people were criticizing me?
People sitting there eating chips on the couch.
Can't even fucking do a pull-up. If you didn't study for your big exam, and you go into it saying, I'm gonna pass it, no, you're not. You're gonna fucking fail it. No one wants to fight a person that just keeps coming after you. I want God to be impressed with how I turn out. I wanted to get here. Now you're here and now you wanna fucking quit?
So there's three things that I observed in our interaction that you do well. Your self-talk, your visualization, and your physiology, the way you move your body, the way you carry yourself.
Right.
Right? I think so much of changing our identity for a lot of these people is flipping those three. So in the book, you talk a lot about visualization, right? You talk a lot about self-talk, but you didn't talk as much about physiology, and yet everything you do is so physical.
Right.
So shed some light on maybe just all three of those.
So I will talk about, kind of like body language.
Yeah.
I'll start there first.
Yep.
So I worked with a few pitchers. I won't name their names, big name pitchers. And I studied them for a long time. Man, I want to be better, man. I want to be better, I want to be better. So I got film on them. I studied them. I'm like, okay, what is wrong? That's it.
Yeah.
I saw it. Whenever something bad would happen on the mound, that's the first thing they would do.
Totally.
The head drops, shoulders roll forward, they look down. That sends a direct message to your brain that I failed. I am a failure. That starts the downward spiral to being a failure. On that mound, you can't ever recover. It's that, so I started teaching this. It's that person who, you throw a bad pitch, you get the ball back, your chin is not high, because that shows that you're way too proud. Your chin stays here. Your shoulders stay nice and level. Your feet firmly on the ground. Your hands planted like I'm ready to beat somebody's ass, and I'm ready for battle. It tells your mind, wow, maybe we didn't fuck up that bad. We're still in the fight. So that's the one thing I always do is like, even if I fuck up, keep your body positioned like you're still a warrior.
100%.
Like you're still fighting. If you get 100 bad calls in a row. Hello, I'm David Goggins. How you doing today? Okay, wrong one. Don't start getting poopy pants and getting upset with yourself. No, it's a mentality, and your body language has a direct thing to your brain and how it functions. So my self-talk is like no one else's self-talk.
And by the way, this was a question that probably 50 people asked. What does he say to himself?
So this is what I say to myself. It changes all the time. But let's say for shits and giggles, I'm training for a 100-mile race. Let's say a 200-mile
Just for shits and giggles, I'm training for a 100-mile race.
Right.
Okay, good.
So let's say I'm training for a 100-mile race, and I get to mile 50. And I feel like shit. And like everybody else, my mind gets soft. Why? Because I'm human. I'm not some damn, hybrid creature that was formed from the heavens above. No, not. Human. I suffer, I don't like it, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like it. So my mind starts to get weak, and we start to forget about how badass we are. I call that the cookie jar, but it's not about the cookie jar right now. This is about self-talk. But the cookie jar kind of goes to self-talk too. It's a piece of it. So basically what I do here is you have to make sure that your mind doesn't become spastic. When it's suffering, when it's in pain, all it wants to do is find the easy way out, which is usually quit. If you quit, the pain goes away immediately. You gotta give yourself enough energy and fuel in your mind to stay just a little bit longer so you can talk yourself into staying for the whole thing. And this is how it works. Most of us never start anything cold. If you're gonna go to college, you gotta study your ass off. If you wanna run a 100-mile race, a marathon, if you wanna go be Mr. Olympia, if you wanna go be a scientist, a doctor.
Be one of the best salespeople on the planet.
You gotta work.
You gotta work.
But this
and
is what we do.
Build, you gotta build up to that.
But what happens is, in that moment where we need self-talk, when we're failing and we're in our worst spot possible, we forget the back end. Oh, my fault, the front end. All the build up to where we're at today. We forget how much work we put in. So for me, I'm at mile 50.
Say that one more time. Say that more. So I'm in the middle of it.
Right.
I'm making my calls. I hate it. You're at mile 50.
That's right.
You hate it. Your mind's getting, wiggly on you.
I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
We forget that we put years, maybe not into making these dials, but to getting where you're at today.
To become this person.
To become this person, to be in a position to make this money or whatever the fuck you want to make, whatever you want to do in your life.
Yeah.
We forget that. We forget that journey on what it took for us to get in this moment to make the right decision.
Yeah.
So that's my self-talk is this. Okay, I want to get the fuck out of here, man. I'm done. Then I remember this. You ran 2,000 miles training to be in this moment right now. Mm-hmm. We forget that.
Yep.
We forget the 3 o'clock in the morning runs or getting up early for work or whatever you're doing. We forget all that. In that moment of suffering, I remind myself, I only have 50 more miles. I put in 6 months of training.
You did 67,000 pull-ups.
67,000 pull-ups, that's right.
4,030, right?
Exactly.
Like, this is no big deal.
We forget all of that.
Yeah.
So what I do, my self-talk is basically going back down memory lane.
Yeah.
Of all those fucked up days, I ran the fucking rain, or I had to fucking study real late at night, and I didn't want to do it, but I did it to get here.
Yeah. That's the hook.
That is the hook.
That's the hook.
I wanted to get here.
Yeah.
Now you're here, and now you want to fucking quit?
Yeah.
So you gotta be mindful, but this thing about it, if you haven't put in any hard work to reflect on, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So there is no self.
Because you got nothing to pull back on.
It's just a lie.
Nothing to say, hey, you've done this before.
That's right.
Or you've done something like this before.
Right. All this like people want to be all positive, all this positive talk, it doesn't work if it's a lie. Like if you didn't study for your big exam and you go into it saying, I'm gonna pass it, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking fail it.
Yeah.
That self-talk is not gonna work. Self-talk without real work is just a lie.
Yeah.
So my self-talk is me reminiscing back on the struggle to get to this moment. Yeah. And that tells me we're not quitting today.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah. I just did a video, and I don't know if you guys watched this, where a lot of us talk about like a vision board. We're gonna talk about visualization in a minute. And I used to just really poo-poo on vision boards. Like, it's kind of bullshit, right? You're throwing up this Rolex or this car or this house or this vacation. And what I started doing a couple years ago was showing me doing the work.
Right.
Here I am in the gym. Here I am making the calls. And this is the end result of the vision that I want.
Right.
Right? And that's been hugely transformational for a lot of people, because otherwise you are kind of making it up and you got nothing to base it on.
That's right.
No case behind it. Talk about visualization, but I want to ask a very specific, like a specific time in your life. Okay. You had a goal to become like the all-time pull-up champion of the world, right? Guinness Book of World Records.
Right.
And you talked in the book about the first time you did it and the sort of situation that was going on and how it was wrong in the bar, and like I probably listened to that part like 4 times.
The
right?
Today Show.
The Today Show, right?
Yep.
And then too many people, too many selfies, right? Like distractions,
totally
which a lot of people deal with. Then you flipped, right? And you went to that killer hard gym, right? And I forget the Mongo or whatever the guy. I forget the guy's
Nandor.
name. Yeah, I mean it was like some crazy name, right? But like it was like the right environment. But your hands like got completely destroyed,
That's
which
right.
you should all Google David Goggins' hands.
It's also a picture in the book.
And it's disgusting, but it's like, it's a rad visual.
There's some great pictures in the book.
But then you did it.
Right.
And I know like so much of your strength, and I'm going back to that, the beginning of this question, I believe so much of your genius is that. So what did you do to visualize, to get over the hurdle and to make that real for you?
So basically you have to put yourself in the moment 1,000,000 times while I'm sitting here. First of all, it takes total quietness. We live in a world that's so busy and so active and moving so fast. Right now, I am sitting with Tom Ferry. My mind is sitting with Tom Ferry. It's not talking to Tom Ferry while thinking about, my God, I gotta order some more books, I'm sold out of here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's the first thing about visualization. You must make sure to silence out all the fucking bullshit of life, which is very hard to do.
It is very hard.
Because your visual picture must be clear as shit. It has to be clear. It can't be like kind of in and out like a fuzzy TV. You gotta see it. It has to become real. You gotta take a snapshot of it 1,000,000 times, put in the bank. That snapshot of me was getting that 4,021 pull-up knocked out, because the record was 4,020. I visualized that over and over and over again. I visualized what I was gonna say, because the guy's name was Stephen Highland.
I was thinking like what you're gonna say to
What
him.
I was gonna say to him on video when I finally got his ass.
Yep.
So I visualized success. But then I went through, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
I have to do 4,020 pull-ups to get to that 4,021 pull-up. I know now, because it took me 3 chances to get it. All those failures, they were great for me to examine where I was fucking up at along the way. So I take all that and I put in the bank as far as visualization. Okay, when I get to 2,500 pull-ups, my hands start to rip. Okay, I get ready for that. So I started visualizing, how am I gonna handle the pain? Okay, then you start visualizing, okay, my nutrition was off. You start visualizing all these things because you have to mimic it 1,000,000 times, but I can't mimic 4,020 pull-ups by doing it.
But you can see all the milestones where you failed.
That's right.
And see yourself going beyond it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that was my big thing about, I had to walk in, get the chalk, I had to see everything over and over and over again. And when I realized I had to keep that visual, that picture in my head for 17 hours. It took me 17 hours to break that record. So for 17 hours, while I used to be loud everywhere I went, I put these headphones in. And I never listened to music, but I listened to one song, Going the Distance, for 17 hours. It's 2 minutes and 13 seconds. For 17 hours, I had that in.
That's a lot of Rocky.
A lot of Rocky. And I just went here. And so I was able to visualize every rep. So I visualized my hand placement, making sure that felt right before I got going. I didn't ignore all the little pains. My hands got sweaty. Okay, that means I was aware of everything. That means my hand's about to rip. It's getting sweaty. Wipe it off. Be aware. Everything. I was totally in the moment because of how I visualized everything.
That part I keep referring to the book, but in the audio, one of the things that we do, right, for our clients, and we recommend for all entrepreneurs, is they need to ask themselves a lot of questions about what worked and what didn't. And you were so pointed in like, man, the lessons are in the failures. That's a mindset that most people don't have. And we've talked a lot about mindset.
Mindset's everything.
Just give them insight on how do we create this, I fail and it's a good thing. I missed the pitch and it's a good thing. I made the call, it didn't work and it's a good thing.
Okay, this is very easy. Most people who are failing are trying their fucking ass off. Most people who are failing are being criticized by people who haven't attempted what you're even trying to fail at. So what I'm failing at, so after I did 2,500 pull-ups my first time going for the record. You know how many people were criticizing me?
People sitting there eating chips on the couch.
Can't even fucking do a pull-up.
Exactly.
Look at your audience who's criticizing you, first of all. They're not even in your fucking world. You don't even talk to me. Block them out. That's the first thing. The second thing is, through failure, you get all the fucking answers.
You get all the lessons.
All of them. They're all there. So I was able to go back through and say, okay, this happened, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. So I don't even look at failure like, I don't even call it failure. I don't, because I don't look at it like, oh my God, I failed. No, I look at, okay, like trying to invent the fucking light bulb. I'm afraid to know what's failure. I'm trying to invent a fucking light bulb. I'm trying to break 4,020 pull-ups. That's failure? Anything you do along that way is amazing. That's how you gotta look at failure. Failure.
Making 20 calls when you only made 2 or 3. It's unbelievable.
You gotta look at it very differently. So for me, I have a scrap piece of paper and I'm going back through this stuff. Okay, check, I didn't make the goal. Okay, boom, boom, boom. The next time I did 3,200 pull-ups. Okay, I'm still 800 shy of the record.
I remember this in the book when you did it.
Fucking 800 shy of the record now. So I went from 25 to 3,200, and I gotta get to 4,020.
21.
21. That's a long way away. But
and your body's breaking down.
Left and right. But I got that whiteboard out again, and I started writing down, okay, what did I do wrong this time? What did I do wrong this time? You cannot look at it as failure. Even though you didn't get what you wanted, all you're doing is examining ways to become successful at this particular thing. You're trying to master something. It's not failure. You're trying to become the master of a particular thing. It's not failing.
Yeah.
Whenever you're trying to master something, there's a process. There's a process, and the process may take you a year.
And it's not
2 years.
always winning.
No.
That's
No.
the thing that people don't get. Most of the time you lose.
That's right.
But you don't embrace the loss as anything other than, how am I gonna get that guy next time?
That's it.
I got too tired. What do I need to do to hydrate better? How can I stretch more?
Because that person, let's say your son, for instance, tennis player.
Yep.
If your son has the right attitude, and he keeps on coming back with the right attitude, no one wants to play that. No one wants to fight a person that just keeps coming after you. Yeah. Every time you knock them down, they don't look at it as being knocked down. They have a whole different way of looking at that shit. That's a scary person.
I agree.
You don't want to fight that person. So that's how I looked at my pull-up records, and I failed everything at least 3 to 4 times. Yeah. My whole life. I never passed anything once. Ever in my life have I gone through and been the first time at anything. Ever. But that's what gave me that book.
I mean, say
that's what gave me a story.
The Army Ranger story. All right, let's wrap with this. In chapter 11, that's the last chapter, right?
Right, last chapter.
And Adam does a wonderful job, sort of narrating and telling the story. But then you broke into this piece that I had such an even deeper appreciation for you, where you're like, look, man, this visualization about one day when we all die, right? So would you mind? I mean, I know it's totally in the book.
No, it's fine.
But I think it's a great way to wrap this.
So let's say this, man. So I don't care what you believe in. I'm not judging you. I believe in God. Yeah. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't give a damn what you are. But for this scenario, let's say that you're God. Yeah. Let's say that you guys, for those of you who read my book, get the audio book or the hardcover, whatever, I used to weigh 300 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. I was 175 in high school and 300 pounds. Yeah. Let's say that I didn't improve myself at all. I die at 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, making $1,000 a month. That's what I made. Yeah. And I go to heaven, and you're God. And you have a big, long line of people. And I'm standing in line, I'm coming up, I'm next. So you have Mary Ann. And Mary Ann, you're talking to her, you're judging her. And I'm like, what the hell does God have in his hand? What's that paper? Yeah. And so God tears it away and throws it in the trash can, and Mary Ann goes walking away. Yeah. Now, you have a piece of paper in your hand, and I'm next. And God says, sit down, David.
David Goggins.
That's right. David Goggins on top of the paper. And I say, and God gives me the paper. And I look at it. When I'm reading this paper, and on the paper I'm seeing all these amazing things. You were a 185-pound athlete. You ran all these crazy races. You broke records. You were a Navy SEAL. You were the only person to do this, do that, do everything. You had a best-selling book, man. You changed millions of lives. And I look at God, who is you right now, and I say, this says David Goggins up here, which is my name, God, but this isn't me. I'm I think you gave me the wrong paper. And God says, no, because God knows all, God sees all. And God looks at me and says, this is what you should have been. This is what you should have been.
Yeah.
This is what you should have been. Yeah. You should have been this. We all have a choice in the world. Yeah. God, or whatever you believe in, knows what you're supposed to be, knows what's inside of you. Yep. But most of us take the choice that makes us feel good. Yep. We're not willing to break through those barriers to find, so my whole mindset was this. That's how I visualize. I visualize that one day I will be judged by something much more powerful than me. Yep. And my whole thing is, while I'm living on earth, God knows everything about David Goggins. Even God, I want God to be up there with a pen, get another piece of paper saying,
he did what?
I didn't even know he'd do that. I didn't know he'd do this. So I want God to be impressed with how I turn out. Yeah. Which means I want to check off every single box of all the possibilities of what I'm supposed to be in life. Yeah. Leave nothing to question in my life.